The ultimatum. The Vortexian warship emerged from the darkness beyond Mars, its obsidian hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Shaped like a massive spiral shell stretching nearly 2 kilometers from bow to stern, it dwarfed humanity's largest orbital stations. Earth's detection systems had given only 30 minutes warning before the vessel settled into a perfect geosynchronous orbit above the United Nations headquarters in New York. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of the International Space Command Station, her dark eyes fixed on the alien vessel. As Earth's Space Defense Force commander, she had run thousands of first contact simulations. None had prepared her for this. "They're hailing us, Commander," Lieutenant Alvarez reported, his voice steady despite the tension evident in his rigid posture. Reyes smoothed her uniform. "Put them through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being that defied immediate comprehension. Ambassador Orcs of the Vortexian Empire had a vaguely humanoid upper body that transitioned into a mass of writhing tentacles below. Its skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that seemed to correspond with its speech. 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern regarded Reyes with cold intelligence. "People of Earth," the translation system rendered its vibrating speech into English. "The Vortexian Empire acknowledges your species' achievement of faster-than-light communication. Your signal beacon was detected by our forward scouts. As is customary, we extend imperial protection to developing worlds such as yours." Reyes maintained her composure. "We appreciate your acknowledgement, Ambassador. Earth welcomes peaceful contact with. Your gratitude will be expressed through tribute." Sorix interrupted. "Resources, technology schematics, and human representatives will be collected within 3 lunar cycles. Our envoys will arrive to specify requirements and collection procedures." The bridge fell silent. Just 8 months earlier, humanity had celebrated sending its first FTL communication probe beyond the solar system. The achievement had apparently attracted unwanted attention. "I must consult with Earth's governing authorities regarding your request," Reyes replied carefully. "Consultation is permitted. Refusal is not." The ambassador's bioluminescent patterns pulsed brighter. "The Empire has incorporated 4,000 worlds into its protection network. All eventually recognize the benefits of our system." The transmission ended abruptly. Within hours, the United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Leaders from around the world gathered in the underground facility beneath Geneva, their faces grim as footage of the alien vessel played on displays throughout the chamber. Secretary General Okafor stood at the central table. "What exactly constitutes tribute in their view?" she asked when the recording finished. Dr. Aileen Choi, head of the newly formed Xenopolitical Analysis Division, stepped forward. "Based on our preliminary translations of their follow-up communications, they expect approximately 20% of our global mineral production, unrestricted access to our digital knowledge repositories, and," she hesitated, "50,000 humans annually for what they term cultural exchange and service opportunities." "Slaves," General Volkov of the Russian Federation said flatly. "They want slaves." "And if we refuse?" asked the Chinese premier. Dr. Choi displayed another translated message. The ambassador was explicit. Resistance results in demonstration of imperial capacity, followed by adjusted tribute requirements. Previous resistant worlds apparently faced orbital bombardment until compliance was achieved. The room erupted in debate. Some advocated immediate military preparations, others suggested negotiation for better terms. Dr. Nikolai Chen, director of the Quantum Physics Institute, had remained silent until now. He rose slowly, his slight frame belying the gravity of his presence. "We have a third option," he said quietly. The room gradually fell silent. "One the Vortexians won't expect because it seems to be outside their cultural framework." "We're listening, Dr. Chen," Secretary General Okafor prompted. "We leave." Chen's words hung in the air. "Evacuate Earth." General Volkov scoffed. 8 billion people. Impossible. Not impossible, Chen countered. Merely unprecedented. He activated the room's holographic display, showing technical schematics. My team has been analyzing the Vortexian vessel's scanning technology. Their quantum detection systems are advanced, but follow predictable principles. We can develop countermeasures, essentially invisibility technology. The room fell silent as the implications became clear. You're suggesting we evacuate humanity while making the Vortexians think we're still here? President Rodriguez of the North American Alliance asked incredulously. Precisely. Chen nodded. We build stealth ships, evacuate our population to temporary colonies, and let them have an empty planet. Then, when we're ready, we fight back from positions they don't know exist. Evacuate billions in 3 months. Secretary General Okafor frowned. Even with unlimited resources, the logistics seem overwhelming, Chen acknowledged, but not impossible. The alternative is generational slavery or extinction. What followed was the most extraordinary 48 hours in human history. The Security Council expanded into an emergency global authority with unprecedented powers. National borders became administrative boundaries in a unified evacuation plan. Private aerospace corporations integrated with military space commands. Every factory capable of producing spacecraft components was commandeered. Dr. Chen's team worked without rest, reverse engineering Vortexian scanning systems from the data collected during the initial encounter. The breakthrough came on the 5th day when Dr. Chen's quantum camouflage prototype successfully rendered a test vessel invisible to sensors calibrated to Vortexian specifications. The principle is elegant, Chen explained to the emergency authority. Their quantum scanners detect matter through subatomic resonance patterns. Our countermeasure creates a field that cancels these patterns, essentially making objects non-existent from their perspective. Commander Reyes, now heading Earth's Unified Defense Forces, studied the prototype design. How quickly can we scale this to ship-size applications? With global manufacturing cooperation. 2 weeks for the first vessels. Chen displayed the production timeline. We can produce enough stealth fields for the entire evacuation fleet within 7 weeks. Meanwhile, the diplomatic team led by former UN Ambassador Lin Mai engaged in daily communications with the Vortexians, asking endless questions about tribute requirements. Each inquiry forced the aliens to consult their protocols, buying precious time. We wish to understand the acceptable mineral composition parameters, Lin asked during the 8th meeting, her expression a mask of earnest cooperation. Our scientists need precise specifications to ensure efficient extraction. While the diplomats stalled, humanity's greatest engineering project accelerated. Underground facilities expanded rapidly as mining operations went into overdrive, explained to Vortexian observers as preparation for mineral extraction. In orbit, construction of tribute processing stations provided cover for the assembly of stealth evacuation ships. The Vortexians observed Earth's industrial mobilization with approval, interpreting it as preparation for tribute collection. They remained unaware that each orbital platform contained hidden components designed to convert to escape vessels. 30 days after first contact, Dr. Chen presented the completed prototype of the quantum camouflage system to Commander Reyes. They stood in a secure laboratory deep beneath the Himalayas, watching as the device, no larger than a microwave oven, hummed softly. This will shield a vessel carrying up to 5,000 people, Chen explained, dark circles under his eyes betraying his exhaustion. The field renders the ship completely invisible to Vortexian sensors. And it works? Reyes asked, circling the unassuming device. In answer, Chen activated the system. The prototype disappeared completely, though they could still feel its presence when reaching out. We've already begun mass production, Chen said as he deactivated the field, making the device visible again. The first evacuation ships will be ready in 3 days. Reyes nodded grimly. Then Operation Phantom begins. Throughout the following weeks, families across Earth received evacuation orders disguised as tribute preparation assessments. The Rahman family in Jakarta stared at their notification, instructing them to report to Processing Center 47 in 3 days with only essential possessions. Amira Rahman held her 6-year-old daughter Lila close. "Will we ever come back?" she asked her husband Fareed as they packed their permitted belongings. "Someday," he promised, though uncertainty clouded his eyes. "When Earth is ours again." Across the planet, similar scenes played out as humanity prepared for an exodus unlike anything in its history. Not to fight, not to submit, but to vanish, becoming the ghosts that would one day haunt their would-be conquerors. As the first stealth evacuation ships prepared for departure, Commander Rice addressed the skeleton crew that would maintain Earth's deception. "You've volunteered for the most dangerous mission in human history," she told the assembled 50,000. "While billions escape, you will maintain the illusion of a compliant planet until the final moment. What you're doing will never be forgotten." The crew, comprised of military personnel, engineers, and specialists from every nation, had all volunteered knowing they would be the last to leave, if they left at all. Dr. Chen approached Rice after the briefing, his face drawn with fatigue. "The final evacuation vessels are complete. We can move the remaining population within the deadline." Rice studied the scientist who had given humanity its only hope. "Your family, already evacuated to Colony Site Epsilon," Chen replied. "My daughters send messages asking when I'll join them." He smiled faintly. "Soon, I hope." Above them, Earth's night sky twinkled with the lights of orbital stations, where millions already waited in stealth-shielded habitats. Beyond, the first colonial vessels had begun their journeys to distant star systems, carrying the seeds of humanity's future. While on Earth's surface, automated systems maintained the illusion of normal planetary activity through programmed patterns and holographic projections. Cities appeared occupied, power grids functioned at typical capacity, and communication networks buzzed with simulated messages. The greatest deception in human history was working. The Vortexian Empire expected either submission or feudal resistance. They would find neither, only the echo of a civilization that refused to be enslaved and chose instead to become ghosts among the stars. The vanishing. Dawn broke over Lake Michigan as Angela Chen watched her parents pack the family's single authorized duffel bag. At 12 years old, she understood more than her parents realized about Operation Phantom. Her father's position as the architect of Earth's stealth technology meant she'd overheard enough to grasp the stakes. "Remember what we practiced," her mother said softly, checking Angela's evacuation tag. "Stay quiet during transport. No questions until we reach the safety zone." Angela nodded, clutching her tablet containing family photos and her digital library. Civilization's knowledge compressed into devices carried by millions of children. Adults carried expertise instead of things. Doctors had medical data, engineers had technical plans, teachers had educational materials. Humanity brought what it needed to rebuild. Outside, transport vehicles with darkened windows moved through Chicago's streets. Neighborhood evacuation coordinators checked names against tablets, directing people to their assigned vehicles. The Chen family joined 40 others in a transport marked with a manufacturing company logo. Its documentation identified them as tribute preparation specialists, a designation the Vortexian observers had approved without understanding its true purpose. The vehicle drove to what appeared to be an industrial complex. Inside the largest building, the floor descended, revealing a massive underground launch facility. 3 cylindrical vessels waited, each capable of carrying 2,000 people to orbit under the protection of Dr. Chen's quantum camouflage system. "Is that your father's invention?" a boy whispered beside Angela, pointing to the shimmer of energy surrounding the nearest ship. "One of them," she answered quietly, a flicker of pride amid her anxiety. Similar scenes played out in cities worldwide as humanity executed the greatest migration in its history. Evacuation proceeded in carefully scheduled waves, maintaining the appearance of normal planetary activity through automated systems and the skeleton crew of volunteers. Commander Rice studied the global evacuation map from the Emergency Command Center beneath Geneva. Green indicators showed completed zones, with only a few yellow areas remaining. The final evacuation ships preparing for departure. Evacuation status, she asked Director Hassan, who supervised the operation. 93% complete, he reported, fatigue evident in his voice. Remaining ships launch when the Vortexian collection fleet approaches. The automated systems are functioning at planned levels. Ray zoomed in on a satellite view of Tokyo. From orbit, the city appeared normal. Lights in buildings, trains moving along tracks. But no humans walked the streets, only occasional drones maintaining the illusion. Her communication officer approached urgently. Commander, Vortexian fleet detected at the edge of the solar system. Estimated arrival in 72 hours. Accelerate final evacuations, Rai ordered, and notify Ambassador Lin. It's time for the final diplomatic performance. On the Vortexian command vessel, Ambassador Xorix received Earth's diplomatic delegation with growing impatience. 3 months of detailed questions about tribute requirements had tested even imperial protocols. Our final inquiry concerns the logistics of human representative transfer, Ambassador Lin stated formally. Given the sensitivity of biological transport, we've prepared specialized containment facilities at these coordinates. She transferred a data packet showing 20 major cities where collection centers had been established. In reality, these locations house the most sophisticated holograms and automated response systems designed to interact briefly with Vortexian collection teams before technical malfunctions would obscure the absence of actual humans. Your preparation exceeds expectations, Xorix acknowledged, luminescent patterns rippling across its skin. The collection fleet will arrive within 3 rotations of your planet. Tribute processing will begin immediately. We look forward to formalizing our relationship with the Empire, Lin replied, maintaining the deception until the very end. As the delegation returned to Earth, they boarded their own evacuation vessel, one of the last to depart. Ambassador Lin looked back at the Vortexian ship through the viewport as their stealth systems engage. "Do you think they suspect?" asked her aide. "Their cultural database shows no precedent for planetary evacuation," Lin replied. "The concept is beyond their strategic thinking. In orbit above Mars, temporary habitats shielded by quantum camouflage house millions awaiting transport to distant colonies." Dr. Chen monitored the stealth field from the central control station. "Any indication the Vortexians can detect us?" he asked the monitoring team. "None," the lead technician confirmed. "Their communications remain focused on tribute collection procedures. No security alerts detected." Chen allowed himself a small smile. His technology had performed beyond expectations. The greatest migration in human history had occurred right under alien sensors. On evacuation vessel horizon, Angela Chen pressed her face against the viewing port as Earth became a small blue marble in the distance. "Will we ever go back?" she asked her father. Dr. Chen placed a hand on her shoulder. "Someday, when we're ready." The last civilian evacuation ships broke orbit, their stealth systems masking their departure. Behind them, Earth waited, a hollow shell about to spring history's greatest surprise. Fleet Admiral Zoltherax stood on the command deck of the Imperial Dominance, his flagship that stretched nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern. The massive collection fleet behind him contained 200 vessels, each designed to extract specific resources from Earth. "Visual of the target world," his sensor officer announced. The main screen displayed Earth, blue and cloud-streaked. Sensor data indicated normal power signatures, communication networks, and transportation systems. "The humans have been surprisingly compliant," Zoltherax remarked to his second-in-command. "Usually, new tribute worlds require at least a small demonstration of force." Ambassador Xorix reports they requested extensive information about tribute requirements. Sub-Admiral Kree replied. "They appear eager to meet expectations." "Efficient," Zoltherax noted with approval. "Perhaps this integration will proceed smoothly for once." The collection fleet moved into position, spreading across Earth's orbit, each vessel aligned with its designated collection zone. Collection ships report reaching coordinates. Kree reported, "They await your command." Zoltharax performed the traditional gesture of acquisition, raising his upper limbs toward the view screen. "Proceed." Throughout the fleet, collection vessels began their descent through Earth's atmosphere, targeting major cities and resource-rich regions across every continent. The largest ships, each capable of holding 50,000 humans, descended toward population centers. On the ground, Commander Reyes and her skeleton crew watched the alien ships descend from their hidden command center. The last evacuation vessel waited nearby, engines warm. Collection ships entering lower atmosphere. A technician reported, "Maintain automated systems at full operation." Reyes ordered, "No direct communication unless absolutely necessary." The first Vortexian vessel landed in what had once been Central Park. Its massive hull crushed trees as loading ramps extended onto the grass. Robotic collection units deployed, moving toward the surrounding buildings. Inside those buildings, sophisticated holographic projectors created fleeting images of human movement. Heat signatures simulated occupied spaces. Automated voice systems responded to Vortexian communications. Tribute collection point established. The Vortexian commander reported, "Beginning preliminary sweep." Similar scenes play out globally. In Beijing, Rio de Janeiro, Cairo, and dozens of other cities, collection ships landed and deployed their forces. They found functioning infrastructure, powered systems, moving vehicles, everything indicating a living city except humans. On the Imperial Dominance, Fleet Admiral Zoltharax received the first puzzling reports. "Admiral, Collection Team 7 reports anomalies in Cairo." Sub-Admiral Kree said, confusion evident in his voice. "They detect electronic systems, but no biological signatures." "Equipment malfunction." Zoltharax dismissed. "Order recalibration." But within minutes, similar reports arrived from collection teams worldwide. The pattern became impossible to ignore. "Admiral, something is wrong," Kree reported, his posture displaying increasing alarm. "We're receiving automated responses from Earth's systems, but landing teams report all collection points are empty of biological life." Zoltharax's bioluminescent patterns flashed with agitation. "Impossible. Scan for subsurface structures. They must be hiding." The sensor operators complied, sending deep scanning pulses through Earth's crust. The results showed many underground facilities, all empty. "Check orbital space," Zoltharax ordered. "Every satellite, station, everything." The sensors swept outward, finding Earth's space stations and satellites, all functional, all automated, all empty. "Admiral," Kree said quietly, "we're detecting no human life signs on the planet or in orbit." Confusion turned to rage as Zoltharax realized the deception. He smashed a control panel with one tentacle. "Impossible," he roared. "A pre-FTL civilization cannot simply disappear." He activated the fleet-wide communication system. "All vessels, expand scan parameters. Search the entire solar system. Find the humans." The fleet redirected resources to scanning operations. Ships broke orbit to investigate other planets and moons in the system. Hours passed with the same result. Automated systems running on Mars and lunar stations, operating normally but empty of biological life. "Admiral," Kree reported after a full day of searching, "we found something." Zoltharax moved to the command station. "Show me." Propulsion signatures leaving the solar system. Hundreds, possibly thousands, but they're unusual. Our sensors barely detected them. Zoltharax studied the readings. The human vessels had used stealth technology that masked them from Imperial sensors. Most disturbing, the technology appeared based on Vortexian principles. "When did these departures occur?" he demanded. Kree checked the data. "Based on trajectory analysis, over the past 10 weeks, since first contact." While Ambassador Orcs was answering endless questions about tribute requirements, the humans had been leaving. An entire planet had evacuated right under Imperial sensors. "Find them." Zoltharax ordered, "Launch pursuit vessels immediately." "Admiral," Kree replied hesitantly, "the signature trails dissipate completely beyond the solar system boundary. We cannot determine their destinations." Zoltharax stood in stunned silence. In 3 centuries of service, he had never encountered such a situation. Imperial protocols had no procedure for a species that abandoned their homeworld rather than submit to tribute. They took everything of value, a resource officer reported. Data centers erased, research facilities emptied, even infrastructure components removed. They left nothing but shells. In his fury, Zoltharax ordered planetary bombardment, but found little satisfaction in destroying empty cities and automated decoys. The weapons fire simply eliminated the elaborate stage setting the humans had created. In the hidden command center beneath Geneva, Commander Reyes and her team watched the bombardment on their monitors. When the Vortexian fleet finally withdrew from Earth orbit, she activated the emergency broadcast system. A pre-recorded message began transmitting on all frequencies, directed at the departing Imperial fleet. The message was simple, encoded in the Vortexian language their linguists had deciphered. "We chose to become ghosts rather than slaves. Remember this when humanity returns." As the last human evacuation ship broke orbit, its quantum camouflage rendering it invisible to the retreating Vortexians, Earth fell silent. The cradle of human civilization became a monument to ingenuity and defiance, a hollow world that had chosen emptiness over subjugation. In the vast darkness between stars, thousands of vessels carried humanity to new homes. Within them, people like Angela Chen pressed against viewports, watching the stars streak by as they fled into the unknown. "What happens now?" Angela asked her father as Earth vanished from view. Dr. Chen looked at his daughter, seeing in her eyes the future he had fought to preserve. "Now we rebuild. We learn. We grow stronger." His expression hardened with determination. "And one day we return, not as tribute, but as equals." Aboard each vessel, humanity carried not just the knowledge and skills to build new worlds, but something the Vortexian Empire had never anticipated. A warning for any power that threatened their freedom. Earth had fallen silent, but humanity's voice would one day echo again among the stars, not in submission, but in triumph.